What is going on YouTube? It's Primitive here bringing you episode 9 of PokéPrep. This is the series where I'm going to give you all my best tips and tricks that I've learned from my many years of competing to make you a better player in your mentality, your preparation, and your team building. Now today's PokéPrep I wrote after I had a 6-week burnout period. I didn't play the game almost at all for that 6 weeks period, and I really started to dive into why I burned out so hard, how to come back from burnout, and how to prevent burnout in the future because it wasn't fun and it really set me back. So we're going to talk about all the best information that I learned when I was researching burnout. This will include the steps that I took myself to overcome burnout and come back, as well as the things I'm now implementing in my daily life to help prevent burnout. The first thing we're talking about is scheduling time away. This one I think is one of the most important because for myself, I did not take time away. This was pretty much my only hobby, so any second that I could devote to VGC, I was. However, after a year straight of doing that, it really burned me out and it made me really negative towards the game because I didn't have the aspiration or the drive to improve anymore because instead of it being a hobby, it started to become a chore. So the best things to do are take days off. See, like I said, I was spending almost every second that I could playing VGC, but now I take at least 1 to 2 days every single week where I don't touch VGC. I may watch some streams or maybe write or read some articles, but as far as the gameplay itself, I take a day off so that way I can step away, do other things, maybe go hang out with some friends, try some other hobbies, go skateboarding because that's something that I really like to do. This makes it so I can stay in a winning mindset, ready to improve while still enjoying all the other areas of life and giving myself time to refresh on VGC so it's not something that I force myself to do every day and it continues to be something that I love and enjoy. The next thing is you got to focus on one subject at a time. See, this was another flaw that I noticed in myself. Since I took a few years away from VGC to play Hearthstone professionally, when I came back, I felt like I had a lot of catching up to do. I had a lot of things that I needed to learn, including new Pokemon stats, metagame trends, and a lot of other just core mechanics that you need to learn just to become a better player. And there was many days where I would segment it out every single day and do everything. I would practice on Showdown, I would watch tournament matches, I would study stats, I would go through the last week metagame fluctuations, and many other things, and I would do these things every single day, but I wasn't getting good practice because doing this every single day, I wasn't devoting proper time to each subject so that I could really digest it, start to learn what I really needed to learn. And because I was just jumping from subject to subject so many times, I would always have to come back and relearn the things that I thought that I learned. Because right when I was done with that, I would just hop into another thing and not review what I just learned or implement what I just learned into my gameplay, making it so that I just pretty much wasted a lot of my time. My biggest tip to you is segment out your week. Choose days where you focus on 1 to 2 things that you work on, so that way you can get a real efficient practice session instead of the subpar practice sessions that I was giving myself, unfortunately. Another great thing to do is to have a lot of other activities that are Pokemon related that aren't necessarily competitive VGC. This is great because if you're playing VGC, it's likely that you grew up with Pokemon and you love it a lot just like I do. So being able to enjoy Pokemon in different ways that you may not normally do is going to be a way that you can step away from VGC but still stay in a Pokemon mindset and potentially even learn some more things like speed stats, Pokemon abilities that you may not know already. One thing you can do is Nuzlocke the main series games. This is something that I love to do and something that I like to do frequently. It's just a different way to play the game. The Pokemon main series games are not the most difficult games, and so giving yourself a challenge mode is a great way to play Pokemon. Challenge yourself, but have fun. You can also ladder with odd Pokemon. If you want to play VGC, but you're just not really feeling the metagame trends, or you don't see any teams that are fitting you, maybe you just choose a weird Pokemon and you start to ladder with it, build around it, and just have some fun. You can try other competitive formats too, such as single battles, which has many tiers. You could try doubles OU, which is like VGC with a whole different rule set. Or you could even try Little Cup, which is completely different than anything you'll ever try. I've tried it myself. It may not be the thing for me, but there's a lot of people that I know that love Little Cup, so you should definitely give it a try. Another really fun thing to do is join draft leagues. These work like Major League Sports do, where each round you're going to go ahead and draft a Pokemon until you get a big pool of Pokemon. And then each week you're going to play against a different opponent who also has a pool of Pokemon that they drafted. And you're going to be able to see what pool of Pokemon they have, team build with the Pokemon that you have to give yourself the best chance against their Pokemon. And it's really fun. It really incorporates different skill sets. And my favorite thing about them is that no player can have the same Pokemon twice, making every week different, fresh, and new. Now the next thing you need to do is know when to take a break. This has a lot to do with tilt, which is something that I've gone over a little bit in the past, but something that I will go more in depth about in the upcoming PokéPreps. But when you're losing or you're frustrated or you're not in the right mindset and emotions run high, it can be really easy for you to just mindlessly start playing games, which is almost always going to cause you to start losing, which is going to put you in even more negative mindset or even tilt you more. And you need to know when to step away. Sometimes stepping away is just for an hour or two while you go take a walk or do something else. It could be a couple days, it could be a couple weeks, or if it's like me, it could be 6 weeks, a month and a half. You got to do whatever it is that's going to make it so that you can come back to the game with a winning mindset and be open and ready to learn, even if you're losing, because losses are the greatest way to learn. You just have to be ready and willing to accept that. So we just went over a few ways to prevent burnout. So let's go ahead and talk about how I overcame burnout. This may not work for everybody, but this is what worked for me, and so I want to share that with you today. The first thing I did was I realized that I needed to take a break from the game and step away, and so I did it completely, including social media and Discord channels. This gave me time to really think, get away, and not just focus on VGC and the downside and negative mindset that I had towards the game, and start to refresh myself to come back. The next thing I did is, after a few weeks of taking it off, I started to review why I wanted to play, what I wanted to accomplish in this game, and what type of player I wanted to be. I knew that I wanted to be a very top tier player. I've competed all my life. I've never been a casual competitor. I always want to compete to win. So the first step to coming back to burnout for me was reigniting that passion to get better. Even if I wasn't fully ready to come back to the game, I slowly started to get that fire back. Once I started to get that fire back, I slowly started to inch myself back into the VGC community by watching some streams, some YouTubes, and reading some articles. This helped motivate me to get back into playing some more. Although I only played a couple games during this time, if I didn't do this, I probably wouldn't have played those games, because it wasn't until I saw other competitors who are my close friends playing the game and growing that it reminded me that I'm looking to grow as a competitor, and I'm starting to fall behind because I burnt myself out too hard. And then the final step was I just slowly brought myself back into actually competing. I started playing a small amount of showdown games, small amount of battle spot games, and then I started getting back into weekly tournaments like Mount Silver until I was fully back into playing almost every single day, except this time I started to implement my burnout prevention rules that we just went over. And now I'm back. This was a while ago that I was burnt out and came back, and I haven't had any burnout since. My burnout prevention measures have worked tremendously for me. I'm very driven to grow every day. I look forward to playing the game. I look forward to studying. It's something that's really fun to me, and I believe that's because I learned from my mistakes. I saw that I was focusing on the game too much, and as much as I thought playing the game and focusing on the game as much as possible was going to improve me as a player, I realized that I need to have some diversity. I need to take some time off to allow myself to digest the information that I've gotten and bring myself back into a neutral mindset whenever I'm having a bad time or even when I'm winning. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of PokéPrep. The research that I did for this article was super important to me because it really helped me figure out how to prevent burnout, and as well as how to come back from burnout. And I really hope this is going to help you prevent your own burnout, because burnout is something that's only going to hold you back as a player. If you're interested in some more VGC improvement content, I'm going to have all my socials linked down below, which will include my Twitch, my Twitter, and my blog. These will all have consistent VGC content being uploaded. My blog also has the rest of the PokéPrep articles if you're looking to find the ones that are not here on YouTube. However, if you're not interested in the text format, I will have all PokéPrep videos here on YouTube within the next couple weeks. We only have a few left. I highly recommend you check out my blog though, because there's going to be a lot of VGC improvement content out there that won't be coming to YouTube, and it's very valuable to helping you grow as a player. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. I will see you for the next episode of PokéPrep. Goodbye.